This is Pager. He's a 9-year-old macaque who had a Neuralink placed in each side of his brain about 6 weeks ago. If you look carefully, you can see that the fur on his head hasn't quite fully grown back yet. He's learned to interact with a computer for a tasty banana smoothie delivered through a straw. We can interact with the Neuralinks simply by pairing them to an iPhone, just as you might pair your phone to a Bluetooth speaker. The links record from more than 2,000 electrodes implanted in the regions of Pager's motor cortex that coordinate hand and arm movements. Neurons in this region modulate their activity with intended hand movement. For example, some might become more active when he moves his hand up, and others when he moves it to the right. By recording from many neurons and feeding their activity into a decoder algorithm, we are able to predict Pager's intended hand movements in real time. One of the things the Neuralinks allow Pager to do is to play his favorite video game, Pong. To control his paddle on the right side of the screen, Pager simply thinks about moving his hand up or down. We've removed the joystick altogether. Now that he's up to speed, let's increase the difficulty and see how well Pager can play with the Neuralink. As you can see, Pager is amazingly good at Mind Pong. He's focused, and he's playing entirely of his own volition. It's not magic. The reason Neuralink works is because it's recording and decoding electrical signals from the brain. Great game, Pager. And what better reward for a monkey than a banana? We still have challenges spanning many fields of engineering.
Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honors, and glories unto YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, QADASH. Double honors to my elders and my apostles of Great Milestone. They're doing they were well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect, the elect of the 1/3. Shalom. This is Brother Dawadah. Come back at you with another video through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. And today I want to do a video on this video from World Star Hip Hop where you got this monkey playing ping pong with his mind, all right, by way of something called a Neuralink, which is spearheaded by that devil Elon Musk. And as you can see here, he uses his mind in order to make the paddles in the game move, all right. Because at the beginning he was using the joystick, but then it transitioned to him just using his mind. And first of all, the main question that has to get asked is, who in their right minds will make a monkey do this? See, Esau, he's the devil. He searches different things out. As is written, they conduct a diligent search. They search things out. You know? Well, let's grab it. Psalm 64. Let me see at the point. Psalm 64 and verse 5. Really, the point is in 6. Let's say 5 and then 6. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. You know what? Let's start at the top. Let's start at the top. Psalm 64 and 1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. So this is a psalm of David, which King David was both the king and a prophet. It tells you in the book of Acts. And a lot of these different psalms are prophetic psalms. The word prophecy means to say before. Pro meaning before, phasis meaning to say. Put it together, loosely translated, it means to say before. And a lot of these different psalms are prophetic. They're meant to take place in the future. All right? Like this psalm here, Psalm 64 and 1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. Now, who is the wicked? Let's go to Malachi 1 and 4. Start at the top. The burden of the word of YAHAWASHI to Israel by Malachi, which was Malachi's nationality. He was a Hebrew Israelite. I have loved you, saith YAHAWASHI. who is he speaking to? Israel. In the first verse. I have loved you, saith Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? And that's what Jake says. That's how you know the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Israelites. Because when you tell them, hey, man, the Most High loves you, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing, you know? Like, let's say it's a woman and she's, out there, quote unquote, she's out there. You know what I mean by that. And you tell her, hey, man, you shouldn't be doing that. This, that, and the third. The Most High loves you. What is the main thing that they say in response to that? Well, if God loved us, why he let us go through all this? Why are we going through this? Why are we going through that? Why did we go in slavery? You see? If you tell Jake in the street, hey, man, you shouldn't be selling drugs. All right? You shouldn't be doing that, man. The Most High loves you. You're destroying your people. You shouldn't be doing that. Then they'll be like, well, if God loves us, how come we in the hood? How come we in the ghetto? That's an example of them saying, wherein hast thou loved us? Because Jake is catching all this kinds of hell. They're going through hell. They're being afflicted. Was not Esau Jacob's brother? This is the Most High's response. Was not Esau Jacob's brother? That goes back to the book of Genesis. Right? Genesis, I believe it's the 25th chapter. Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai? Yet I loved Jacob. See, yet I loved Jacob. Let's read that again. I have loved you, saith Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai. Ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? That's true. Esau was the older brother of Jacob. Yet what did the Lord do? He chose Jacob and he rejected Esau. Right? He loved Jacob and rejected Esau. Though Esau was the older brother, technically, he was supposed to get the blessing and everything. But the Most High didn't want that. This was done through the Spirit. All right? Jacob was always meant to get that blessing. All right? Scripture say, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. Roughly paraphrasing the scripture. Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai? Yet I love Jacob. Yeah, the Lord loves Jacob. From Jacob comes whom? Jacob's name was later changed to Israel. From Jacob you get what? The 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right? And I hated Esau. Yeah, the Lord Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai hated Esau. Which, by the way, two of the tribes, Ephraim and Manasseh, came out of Joseph. But what happened? Let me grab that real quick. Genesis, the 48th chapter. You can read the whole chapter from the top. But I'm just going to hit the point. Grab a couple verses up top and then hop down. Genesis 48:1. And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. Now in my head I wanted to say Ephraim and Manasseh because Ephraim became greater than Manasseh. All right. Now let's hop down. Let me read verse 2. And one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. Jacob and Israel both talking about the same individual. Because remember, Jacob's name was changed to Israel by the angel. When Jacob wrestled with the angel told him, thy name shall no more be called Jacob. All right? But Israel, for thou hast power with the Most High, roughly paraphrasing the scripture. So now let's hop down. Verse 8. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons, which are Ephraim and Manasseh, and said, who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, they are my sons, whom the Most High hath given me in this place. And he said, bring them, I pray thee, pray meaning beg, unto me, and I will bless them. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he could not see. In other words, he became blind in his old age. And this is all the Most High being dramatic. The Most High, hey, just like Jake, especially Eve. Eve loved watching dramas, stuff with a lot of twists and turns and plot twists. That's why they're all into different shows that have a bunch of drama. You see? Now the Most High, the way the Most High has this movie playing out, it's a big drama. It's super dramatic. So here it is, you have our forefather Jacob, the one who wrestled with the angel, And, in his old age, his eyes became dim for age. He became blind in his old age. All right? And then he had the controversy concerning Esau and Jacob wrestling in the womb. Later on, Jacob supplanted Esau, of his blessing. Then later on, when it came to the blessing concerning Ephraim and Manasseh, the Most High kept making plot twists, just like concerning Esau and Jacob. Esau was supposed to get the blessing, but the Most High said, "No, it's going to Jacob." All right? The elder shall serve the younger. Then, when you jump to this chapter, the blessing was really supposed to go to Manasseh, who was older biologically than Ephraim, but guess who got the blessing? Ephraim. The Most High just put another plot twist in there. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, the Most High have showed me also thy seed. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel, this is our forefather Jacob, stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger. You see, so the Most High introduced a plot twist. Because really, the main blessing was really supposed to go to Manasseh because he was biologically older. But the Lord said, no, I ain't doing it like that. All right? And his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And he blessed, and it says, and guided, it's like guiding his, let me read that again. And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, meaning he knew what he was doing, for Manasseh was the firstborn. All right, now here it is. I have it pulled up. For some reason it didn't record, but I had to put it up here. So let's read verse 13 again. Genesis 48 and 13. And Joseph took them both, talking about his two children, Ephraim and Manasseh, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand. So you can visualize it. He guided his younger son Ephraim, all right, towards the left hand of our forefather Jacob, so that Ephraim could receive the lesser blessing because he was the younger. He was younger than his older brother Manasseh. So him guiding him toward Israel's left hand was so that Jacob could give him the lesser blessing. And Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand. So he guided his older son Manasseh to go to Jacob's right hand so that he would receive the greater blessing, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand, this is our forefather Jacob, and laid it upon Ephraim's head so that Ephraim could get the greater blessing, who was the younger. So this was against the regular tradition. This is the Most High introducing the plot twist. This was all set up in the spirit. Ephraim was meant to be greater than Manasseh. And his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands winningly, meaning knowingly, knew what he was doing. For Manasseh was the firstborn. Now, when you go into that word wittingly, all right, the Hebrew word there is sakal, which means prudent. All right, wittingly, it says to be prudent, be circumspect, wisely understand. You see? So he knew what he was doing. So now, when we hop back, it says, see, this is drama, controversy. And this is why Jake loved controversy. Jake loved plots that are deep. You know what I mean? And that's one reason why Jake loves watching superhero movies and anime and such, because the plots are deep. It actually makes you think. It draws out emotion. There's plot twists and such. You see? Genesis 40. And, hey, this shows you that we are the people of the Most High. Genesis 48 and 15. And he blessed Joseph and said, the Most High, before whom my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, did walk, the Most High, which fed me all my life long unto this day. I'm going to hop down. Well, let me read it fast. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. Why? Because he knew that wait a minute, Ephraim is younger. You're supposed to give the greater blessing to Manasseh and the lesser blessing to Ephraim. And he held up his father's hand, you got to visualize this, to remove it from Ephraim's head onto Manasseh's head. Because he's like, no, wait, you're supposed to be, the greater blessing really supposed to go to Manasseh and the lesser blessing to Ephraim. And Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father. For this, meaning Manasseh, is the firstborn, put thy right hand upon his head. See? And his father refused. This is our forefather Jacob. And said, I know it, my son. I know it. All right? In other words, he knew that this was set up in the spirit. Look, Ephraim was supposed to get the greater blessing. Manasseh is supposed to get the lesser one. All right? I know that Manasseh is the older and Ephraim is younger. But this is all set up through the spirit. He also shall become a people, talking about Manasseh, and meaning he'd be great. And he also shall be great, but truly his younger brother, which is who? His younger brother is Ephraim, shall be greater than he. That's why Ephraim, they got the music. Ephraim got the dancing. You know, they got the singing. They're great at sports. They're great at boxing. You see? They're greater than Manasseh. And his seed, talking about the Ephraimites, shall become a multitude of nations, meaning they will be very many Ephraimites, so much so that instead of them being like unto one nation, they be so many in number that they be likened unto many nations. In other words, there will be many Ephraimites. All right, that's why you got the saying, you can't even touch an Ephraimite woman because she get pregnant. You know, because they're known for having many children. All right, and that goes back to their word, or rather their name, Ephraim, Aparium, which means fruitful. All right. Now there was a point that I wanted. I want to hop up. Here it is, verse 5. Here's the point. Genesis 48:5. And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which are born unto thee, that thee is Joseph, in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. In other words, these two are your sons, they're going to be mine, like unto my children. They're going to be my children. In other words, they're going to be numbered amongst my seed, thereby making up the 12 tribes. All right? So these two tribes, Ephraim and Manasseh, got joined onto the rest of the tribes, thereby making up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So they got added on to Jacob's 10 sons. That's what it means by are mine, as Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. All right? And thy issue, which thou begettest after them, meaning if you have any other children apart from Ephraim and Manasseh, shall be thine. They're going to be your seed. They're going to be numbered amongst your seed, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. You see, so those two tribes got added onto the rest of the tribes. So now, let's go back to the point. Let's go back to Malachi. Malachi 1 and 2. I have loved you, saith Yahawah Ba'ashem YAHAWASHI. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith Yahawah Ba'ashem YAHAWASHI. Yeah, I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau. Yeah, he hates the so-called white man. All right? I laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. And that happened during the Dark Ages. And they got pushed up into the caves of Georgia, Russia. The Caucasus Mountains, as it were. All right? And they got pushed up there by the dark nations, which was us in rulership, because we ruled over Europe at one point. Whereas Edom said, this is the so-called white man, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished. Where they impoverished? During the Dark Ages. But we will return and build the desolate places, which they've done, beginning with the Renaissance period. All right? When Jay got taken down out of power, primarily by that bubonic / pneumonic plague, all right, that killed 2/3 of our people, all right, that were in rulership. All right, then Esau was allowed to get up in there to take us down. So in other words, the Most High weakened us through a plague, all right, in order for Esau to take us down. Because if we were in our full strength, Esau wouldn't be able to do nothing. That's why the scripture say that the Lord has given us into Esau's hand. Because the Most High is the one that allowed Esau to do it. All right? He was the one that weakened us and allowed Esau to take over us. Not as if Esau was so strong that the Most High couldn't protect us. All right? But that the Most High gave him the green light and helped him to do so. See? But we will return and build the desolate places which they've done. Thus saith Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua of hosts, they shall build, which they've done. But I will throw down. That's when Yahushua comes back and destroys their society. All right? And they shall call them, who is of them? The Edomites. They're the subject matter. In verse 4, starting at the top, whereas Edom saith, right? And they shall call them, talking about the Edomites, the border of wickedness. In other words, they're known as the wicked. And the people against whom Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua have indignation forever. So the Most High will always hate the Edomites. Malachi 3 says that the Most High doesn't change. I believe that's Malachi 3 and 6. Yeah, Malachi 3 and 6. For I am Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua, I change not. So the Most High hated them back then, and he still hates them now. Moreover, Esau is known as the man of sin. And the scriptures say that the Most High is angry with the wicked every day. See? Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. So the Most High still hates them devils, even to this very day. And they are known as the wicked. All right? So now let's go back to Psalm 64. Psalm 64 and 2 again. I'll start at the top. To the chief musician, the Psalm of David. Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. Who is the wicked? The so-called white man. What's an example of their secret counsel? Well, their Bilderberg meetings, their different closed-door UN sessions, all right? The so-called Illuminati, all right? And they get together to find out different ways to destroy Jake. From the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Wet meaning to sharpen. That goes into their legislation. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect, because you jakes are the target. All right? You are the perfect. You are the righteous. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not, because they don't fear Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua. They don't believe that there's going to be judgment executed upon them for their wickedness. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. Yeah, like wanting to chip everybody. That's an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. Yeah. Because on the one hand, they tell you one thing, but they have an ulterior motive that they ain't telling you. Privately. Secretly. Privately. All right? They say, who shall see them? They believe no one's seeing them. So they encourage themselves in an evil matter. All right? They want to chip everybody. That's wicked. They search out iniquities. Yeah, they search these different things out. Do different experiments. All right? Different trials, different tests. Well, if we got this monkey and if we put a chip in it, a Neuralink thing in it, let's see how if it can move, make this ping pong thing move with this mind. That's searching out iniquity. They accomplish a diligent search. They trial and error. All right? Different tests. So on and so forth. Okay, if we do this, we add this to that. Let's see how this affects them. Okay, when we do, they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. See? So these devils, they search these different things out. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Wow. So this is an example of that. All right? So, hey, these devils, they're doing their thing. And this goes back to the prophecy written of in Revelation 13 and 16, where he speaks about that thing that they want to put inside you. The M-O-B. All right, the mark of the beast. All right, and here it is. You got a monkey able to use his mind to make a ping pong thing move.
By recording from many neurons and feeding their activity into a decoder algorithm, we are able to predict Page's intended hand movements in real time. One of the things the Neuralinks allow Page to do is to play his favorite video game, Pong. To control his paddle.
Now, who in their right minds does this? See, Esau, he's the wicked. And the reason he's doing this is not so that he can help people. It ain't so that he can protect humanity and lengthen your life stage and help paraplegic. No, that ain't why he's doing it. He's doing this for total control. He wants to be able to control your minds. Look how everyone has a smartphone. They want that technology in you via a microchip. Because with their smartphone, you can make payments, you can store information. They want all that kind of such things on your chip. They want to chip everybody. What did Aaron Russo say? They want total control. Total control. All right? So now, let's go ahead and get the main script, Revelation 13. Revelation 13 and verse 16. And he, that's the so-called white man, beginning with his international bankers. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That's the chip. So they want to chip everybody. And this is part of him trying to become a god. He wants to be a god. You know? He wants to know what you're thinking, what's going on in your head, or what you're purchasing, where you're at all times. He wants to be a god. Ezekiel 28:1. The word of Yahawah Ba'ashim Yahushua came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, that's a metaphor for Esau, thus saith Yahawah Ba'ashim Yahushua power, because thine heart is lifted up, meaning he's proud. Obadiah 1:3. And thou hast said, I am a god. Yeah, like he wants to microchip everybody. He has a god complex. I sit in the seat of the Most High in the midst of the seas. The seas represent the people. Revelation 17. Yet thou art a man, and not the Most High, though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Heart meaning mind. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. Yeah, like making a monkey be able to use his mind to play ping pong. You know, that's a wise thing. Thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. Because he searches different things out. A great example is through his archaeologists. They go out and go to different places and dig up different things. They search things out. It's up, down. So he believes he's a god, right? He wants to chip everyone, right? This is the Most High speaking here. It says, Ezekiel 28:9. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am a god? It's like, read that again. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Yeah, because Esau has this God complex. But the Lord, Yahawah Ba'ashim Yahushua, is going to sit him down. Because when Yahawashi comes back with those chariots and the missiles, Esau's going to finally realize that he ain't a God. He's going to see that he's nothing more than just a man. As the Lord, Yahawah Ba'ashim Yahushua, destroys the society. All right? So with that, all praises, honors, and glories be unto Yahawah Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim QADASH. Double honors to my elders and my apostles of Great Milestone that do indeed well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect, the afflicted 1/3. With that being said, Shalom. RAWCHAA. Shalom.
On the right side of the screen, Pager simply thinks about moving his hand up or down. We've removed the joystick altogether. Now that he's up to speed, let's increase the difficulty and see how well Pager can play with the Neuralink. As you can see, Pager is amazingly good at mind Pong. He's focused, and he's playing entirely of his own volition. It's not magic. The reason Neuralink works is because it's recording and decoding electrical signals from the brain. Great game, Pager. And what better reward for a monkey than a banana? We still have challenges spanning many fields of engineering